Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is July the 19th, and it is better late than never in my book. And we're still trying to get this stuff figured out. As you can see, we have new environs that we are coming to you from, and we're still trying to get everything figured out. Everything, goodness gracious. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know the drill. If you're up with us, please let us know by comment. If you're not with us and you're going to watch this later, then we are good with that as well. I see 4 of you on here, so just go ahead and let us know you're here. Good morning, Mags. How are you? We don't have a baby yet, so we're still in Halson watching mode. I guess no one's more excited for Halson to come than Maggie because Maggie's carrying a truck. So, and it is getting hot. So, come on, Halson, come see us, baby girl. And they're trying everything, man. She's jumping rope and drinking pineapple juice and hanging upside down, and she's doing all kinds of stuff. So, I guess Halson is a lot more comfortable in there than she is out here. I almost can't blame her. So, it is crazy out here. So come on, Halson, come see us. All right, y'all, there's 5 of us. Let's get going. Good morning, Miss Lynn. How are you? Y'all, so I'm going to apologize for yesterday, and I'm going to apologize. My wife is telling me she's over cleaning the stove. Telling me, am I hollering? Am I being too loud? Sorry, I'm being loud. My voice carries. Sorry. I don't need a microphone. Heather B, good morning. Good morning, Kristen Seabolt, little bulldog. So here we go. Now we're ready. As you can see, we have a new backdrop behind us. Do what? What cup holder?
Do you have a cup holder with your cup? Oh, that's not good. I thought you were being a responsible citizen and have a cup holder.
No cup holder. So apparently, Carrie Leland has a castor oil concoction that was soon to rid you of all things inside. Is that what I'm getting from that, Carrie? That stuff.
I think that's an old white guy.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So good morning. We have spent the last couple days. I don't know how much everybody's been told or what you know, but I'm literally getting barked at from the other room. She's not here, but she's yelling out orders. She's been like this for 3 days. She gets like this when we move. So she likes to be, that's my baby. Yeah, don't do that. Good morning, Bailey. So we are in Hartwell. And we are, I don't know how much you can see behind us. We're getting all this kind of squared away and getting things situated and put together. And I can't tell you, we're apparently in an undisclosed location, and only Christy can tell you where we are. So I am living the embrace the suck mentality, because if you know anything about me, you know that I would rather, I literally would rather you cut off all my toes and cauterize my fingers in a cigarette lighter than move. And we are in mid-move process. We are probably 85% of the way there, a little bit more to go. So I am definitely living the embrace the suck right now, and trying to keep a good attitude about it. But apparently I've not had a good attitude about it. And it's hard for me to have a good attitude about it because moving sucks. But I'm trying. I really am trying.
You don't gotta try. You just gotta choose to do it.
So add on to that, I drove to Tennessee, did a round up and back trip yesterday to drop off Jagger and Kay. They were down here helping us. So we are super excited. I'll show you. No, I can't show you because it's on my phone. If you guys will remind me, I'll show you something on my phone about about vision boards. I know y'all that have been doing vision boards for a minute, and you've been sort of I'm just gonna stop talking until she gets here. I'm just gonna sit here and y'all can just look at me. I'm not gonna say a word.
I'm trying to find my glasses. I can't see. It's all right. Where they're at.
I'm just gonna sit here. Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Sorry. I do apologize. Hello, everyone. Lord. They're like, God, she should have stayed away.
Let's do this switch a little bit. There we go.
We can't move the camera, can we?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. It's good.
Which way are you gonna move it?
I don't care. I'm good. Good
Which way you
morning,
gonna move it?
everybody.
You want to just touch it just to get it out of your system?
No, I just want to touch it because it's easier to move the camera than it is to move 2 chairs, but it's fine. It's all good. Here, no, just slide it that way, just slightly. Whew, sorry, y'all. There we go.
That better?
Oh, Lord.
That's not better?
Yeah, it's perfect. Good morning. I don't know what all was being said. We're talking through this.
Yeah, no, that's just a decoration.
Y'all, that sun behind us.
Is this on? Is this on?
Gracious. Can y'all see how tired I look? Oh my God, I'm so tired. What were you talking about? Carry on.
No, you got it.
I'm hot now. I had to walk around. I wasn't hot when I was out there cleaning the windows. I got up this morning and so I need to take a survey. Screens or no screens. If you have a view, who's the Facebook user? I might have missed the identity of all the. Oh, okay. So screens or no screens. When you have a nice view out your. Thank you, Kristen Seabolt. No, thank you very much. All right. And anyone feel free to chime in.
No, I got you. It's Heather B. It's kicked you off, so I can't see your name when it's up there. But I got you. I've got you on the other one, so you're good. So
I remember somebody thank you, Bailey. Anybody else have any input on? Thank you, Lynn. Do we need more? Do we need to continue the survey? All right. Good morning. So, anyways, y'all, I've been dealing with this. See that face?
Good morning, Anna. How are you?
I've been dealing with this for like 2 weeks. He says it's only been a bigger movie. It's been longer than that. Now I'm hot. Hang on, I gotta put the air on.
Y'all. Oh, Lord Jesus. I am. So Winston's doing an accountability thing, and I got to get on that. But we've spent today is Tuesday, so I guess we started this Sunday afternoon and started a mad dash for some of Carson. Carson lined up some of his football playing friends, and
thank God.
They came over, big strapping lads, and helped us get a bunch of furniture moved. So it's been 48 hours.
Y'all, I apologize for this. Like this
just
happening. Anyways, so go ahead. No. Now you can keep saying what you were going to say. Now that I'm here, you can go for it. So I haven't seen anybody yet that's pro screens, right? Do I have anybody since I've seen everybody that has.
Apparently I'm the only one that's pro screens for like opening the windows when it gets fall, but it's okay.
In the fall, y'all, what day did you say it was?
July the 19th.
Y'all, I don't even like to have a door open right now. It's so hot. Like you open the door and the heat waves emanating from hell are coming in the front door because it's so hot. So I don't really like. So fall. It takes all of 48 seconds, not counting the time it's going to take to walk to the garage and pick the screens back up in the fall.
Your point's made.
Thank you. So thank y'all for supporting my theory of. I actually did. So there actually is, I think, a scientific basis behind it other than vision, and you can't see through them, especially when the morning dew settles in them and you look like you
are looking through. It stormed yesterday.
It's been like that every morning. Anyways,
thank you, Anna.
What did Anna say?
Screens.
Oh, Anna. No. Yes, when you want to open your windows, absolutely. But if you're not in the season of window opening, screens are no bueno. No bueno. So, and I actually had a builder one time tell me that he specifically did not put screens on houses. He would provide them if somebody wanted them. He would leave them in the garage, but he never put them on houses because now screens on a screen porch, that's completely different. So screen porch is completely different. I agree with that. But screens on your actual windows, especially the ones that are like eye level where you're trying to look through, you can't see through them. So, but he did say they actually accumulate moisture.
Mm.
Even though they're designed to not accumulate moisture, they actually do accumulate
Okay.
moisture behind them. So
There you go.
fun fact. Yeah, the screened-in porch, good. That one is a definite, absolute must. We do have to add some screens behind us here. So anyway, so carry on with what you were saying earlier. You were talking about your vision board, and you were talking about the. Go ahead with what you were saying earlier. So, I'm not sure why you even try to disagree. That's Maggie.
Maggie, because
I'm curious to hear what you were saying about the accountability group and needing to get back in the groove of it. So I think, and Lynn, somebody said a while back, I think it was you, Lynn, that said this, or that the speed of the leaders determines the speed of the team, or whatever it was.
John Maxwell said that.
Well, Lynn mentioned it here like a few weeks ago when they were asking about doing these calls. And
leadership lid.
Yeah. So anyways, y'all see that look on his face? Y'all see that look of just, I'm pissed. Y'all see that? I've been looking at that look for at least 2 weeks, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what it's about.
That's not true.
All right, carry on.
Not true. Simply not true.
Yes, that's exactly right. I agree. So as he was saying, because I guess he's not gonna carry on saying it.
Well, as soon as I start talking, you're gonna jump in there and put your 2 cents in. So I'm just gonna let you go.
All right. So the
15 cents.
Go ahead, dude.
25
Seriously.
cents.
Oh my god. Yeah. All right. We're gonna see y'all later. We're just gonna end this broadcast right now. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, so I think I was talking about just kind of getting through those things. And this time, kind of for me, is just sort of that embracing the suck thing, because it's just, I despise moving. I like everything to be kind of almost, because our lives are so crazy anyway, that when our house isn't in order, then it makes everything just, for me, just, that's my C personality coming out. So I don't know how much you have told everybody.
I haven't told anybody anything, but
I
I want to talk on this. I don't want to leave this yet. Stay right there where you were at. On the.
What do you mean?
Because I am of the opinion, before we move on to the next, before we move back to what you started talking about earlier, and I said, will you please wait till I get there to do that, is that they embrace the suck. So here's the thing. If we're moving, or we are having to cold call, or we are having to do something that I think we do, Lynn. I really thank you. I think that you might need to be the beloved thing.
I don't think we need a mediator.
Oh, I'm feeling, who here feels the tension? Who here feels it? Because I'm telling you right now, it is dripping. I feel like I'm having to trod through it right now. Seriously, I do.
Oh, good gosh.
So the thing is that just like we tell you guys, there's things that we don't like in life. There are definitely things that we would prefer to be able to just get through it. And as the leaders of anybody, our children, the agents, anything, I am of the opinion that yes, there are things that we would prefer but I think that the times that we don't enjoy, and having to push through that and choosing to do it without having a crappy attitude about it, are what makes, when we're through with that, all that much sweeter. So who here likes to move? Most screens to be the biggest disagreement in your marriage. May screens be the biggest disagreement in your marriage. Carrie, the screens just so happen to pop up this morning. Trust me, that's not been but it is a embracing the suck full time is over my due date. But Maggie, you're still
really not. You're doing a week or like 5 days.
No, she's not. Her 16th was her due date.
See that? If I disagree, that's the tone I get.
That's not a disagreement. That's an improper fact. That is misstating facts, because her medical due date was July the 16th. That was the due date.
It was the 20th.
That her due date was the 16th. So she is beyond the due date that has been her due date for the last 7.5 months of her pregnancy, basically the full amount of it. So, but not, and we tell you guys this, trust the process, get through, because you have to go through things to get to you have to go through the sour to get to the sweet. right? You've got to be able to go through those things in life that may not be exactly what you, but waking up pissed off at the world and just staying in a pissed off mode because you got to go out there and knock doors today, or you got to go out there and prospect, or you got to go out there and move furniture, or you got to do this, doesn't make the environment that you're in any better. So choosing 40 weeks and 4 days still wasn't here. So thankfully, Maggie, Alex, and Maggie, I hope I can share this. So I will not be at the meeting tomorrow morning at the beginning, because I'm going to be going to the first, probably it's the last, but it's my first time going to the doctor's appointment with Logan and Maggie. So I'm going with them because I think they're going to get to see my doctor, the one that birthed Carson and Zeke both. So I'm going with them tomorrow, and then I'll go on to Madison after that. But it's like a 10 a.m. appointment. So, but even Maggie last night, I mean, she might not be feeling fantastic. And you know what? Bless her heart. She was sitting there on the floor last night, just rocking back and forth and all this stuff. But she was still pleasant. She's still like, she's carrying it because she knows what the end result of this is going to be absolutely. Oh, Dr. Klein knows me and loves me. I'm not coming to Race Hale at all. I'm coming to see Dr. Klein. Like I'm excited because that's who they're going to see. And so I'm going with them. Plus it's their last appointment. So I figure if I'm going to get to go to one, I better go to the one tomorrow because there won't be another one. So anyways, but so yeah, moving does suck. I mean, it does. It's awful. And y'all, I was saying this last week that we had more major life things happening.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like major life events occurring in a 7-day span. And to be able to stay and I mean, honestly, I mean, there's things that it's one thing for things to happen that you're like, you know, and then you just push through it. But if there's an overwhelming sense of I'm just pissed right now and I'm just gonna and let it flow all over everybody else, that doesn't do anybody any benefit. No, I'm just saying in general. No. Like when if you're in a time, like I have a thing up on my mantle and y'all can't see it, but it says choose happy. Happiness is a choice. And I lived for a long time in a situation where I didn't choose happy. And I know what that did to not only to me, but to the relationships around me. Because there comes a point when if somebody is just choosing to spread the suck, like seriously, if you are just choosing, and that's not who we are as a company, that's not who we are as leaders. There's just because people just kind of like ick, like get away, because take that negative, yucky tone to another room or somewhere else, because people just don't want to be around it. So again, we're human, and it's crazy because so Maggie's got a situation going on right now where she has a house that went under contract. And sometimes you've got to have, and this is a safe space. I truly believe that our company, our people, you guys, there's a bunch of y'all that have smaller accountability groups. You meet together and you do things. We see pictures all the time of those things happening. Maggie, you're right. I mean, that last night was that's what makes the suck that we've had to push through for the past 4 years worth it, because it was just, it literally, I'm like thinking about tearing up right now, just watching Maggie say that, because there's times in life that we don't like what's going on, but we've got to push through because we know we got to put in that hard work. And we say this all the time. You got to put in the pain. You got to put in the discomfort. You got to put in the things you don't necessarily enjoy to get to that sweetness, to get to exactly what, you know, you're not looking at the next step. You're looking, you have to look at the next step, but you're not looking at the next step as I enjoy the next step necessarily, because it might not be a step you enjoy. But what you're doing is it's a step in the process of where you're going, and you know what that's going to look like. Because just like Aaron's talked about, he mentioned his vision board a while ago, and we're going to get back to that because all that plays into this. So Maggie has a situation right now. I mean, there's a contract terminating because the guy, and he was so excited about this house. I mean, like he was not leaving. He came and Maggie went, I mean, here she was. It was literally the weekend before her due date, her original due date. And he was not leaving without leaving her an earnest money check. He wanted this house. This was the house for him. The following week, he gets back to work. And so many times, you guys, this is so true in nature. Highs are followed with lows. Highs are followed with lows. It's just cyclical, but the lows will not always stay there. So if you can push through the lows, this guy, and I'm hoping that maybe we can turn this thing around for him. But this guy, he works in sales. He works in customer service. I don't know the exact specifics, and Maggie could correct me or not because it doesn't really matter, the details of the story. He was on a conference call with some customers, and he works for a cellular communications company. And there was a client that was just being extremely difficult. This is the version I've gotten of the story my understanding of it, I think. He gets on a call with a coworker who knows what's going on with this client, or this person's just venting. Like sometimes we've just got to vent. We've got to get it out. We've got to get a release somehow to just get some of that ick out so that you can come back and get back to where you need to be. He thought he was muted. He wasn't muted. So this customer he's talking about can hear everything that's being said. Okay. Well, that customer calls the corporate, because he works for a corporate, obviously big cellular communication company, and insists that he lose his job. He's losing his job. He's been fired. And I'm
looking for
okay.
I'm looking for something.
All right. So he's been fired. But and I said to them, like, they didn't know for sure. I think earlier in the day, yesterday, I guess they found out later in the day that he did in fact get fired. So this is the thing. We're human. Like, I'm really surprised that he's getting fired over that, because it wasn't like he was talking to the person that way. If anybody thinks, because I'm of the opinion, if you're saying something about someone and they hear you, it's no different than if you're saying something about someone and they don't hear you. Does that make sense? Like, the intent of the message, the intent of the actual act that he's being fired over is no different. It just so happens that the person that he was talking about, and you guys may think that I'm crazy for saying this, but in my opinion, and I'm not an HR person, but in the corporate world, if you're going to fire someone for saying something disparagingly about someone, but not to that person, then what's the difference? And why would someone not get fired for saying something about someone, but not to that person, and someone else overhear them, not just the customer? Does that make sense? If you're going to say it, because the reason they're getting fired is because of what they said about the person. They're not getting fired because the person heard it. They're getting fired because they said it. So that leads me to a question of, has anybody in that same company ever said anything derogatory about a customer? Okay. And somebody else hear it, because it doesn't matter if the customer heard it or if another employee heard it. If this person's being fired for what they said about someone, it doesn't matter who heard it. It doesn't matter. It just so happens this time that the customer heard it, and the customer elevated it to the point that they want them terminated. I am of the opinion that if you're going to fire someone for saying something, and you're only firing them because they said it and the customer heard it, when they didn't intentionally know the customer was hearing it, they thought they were muted. They weren't berating the customer directly. They were talking about that customer to another coworker, and maybe about the business situation. It could have been something that they were within their rights as a customer service associate to be discussing this situation. I don't know what the conversation was. I'm just saying that sometimes my point to all of that was that's a whole nother debate. My point to all of that is we're human. And there's times that we are faced with things that we don't like. We're faced with situations. We're faced with people. We get to choose how we respond to that. So if we respond in a way, I think you can just pick it up and turn it around and show it to them. Hold it. So y'all, I'm super excited. I'm really glad he's doing this, because he's going to turn this around and show this to y'all. And then maybe he'll post it on the page. So vision boards. He started talking about this. So on that topic, get it out. Make sure you're muted if you think you're talking to, or just get out and take a run. I mean, there's been times that Michelle or Alex, I can't remember, it's one of these people, it's one of our agents, and it's been a couple of years ago, so it's not one of the newer ones, that y'all enjoy running. And I know this. It wasn't Heather B, and I know Heather B probably enjoys running too, but they called me and they were flipping out about, I mean, there was not about a customer, just about a situation with a contract. And I said, and Bailey, you're on here. I mean, there's times that I say, you just got to do something to calm down. You got to do something to get that energy out. So I don't enjoy running. I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all see me running, y'all better start running too, because something's chasing me and it's probably a bear. It's something big that's going to hurt if it catches me. So if you, okay, Alex, I said, get out and run, get out and go take a run. I knew it was one of y'all that like loves to do fun exercise, painful stuff, the sucky stuff. So, it clears your air. It clears your vibration. It literally clears your energy and makes room for the good stuff to come in. Because, and I know y'all, we've seen it does help with stress. Gardening helps with stress. Seriously, peeling paint off of things helps with stress. So, I mean, there's things that will help you. All you're doing is, it's almost like if you, when you pump your tire up and you pump your tire up too full and you got to put that little thing in there and just relieve some stress, it just alleviates and it gets some of that air, that energy out that you don't need to have, and it makes room for the better energy. And I know there's this like big meme going around right now, or this big deal about Herschel Walker made some comment, and I didn't hear the comment, so I can only imagine. I'm sure that everything that's on social media is 100% accurate about what was said, but talking about the good air and the bad air, and China's bad air had to come over here in order, because our good air it was some stupid thing that I'm sure somebody has taken it and twisting it. But the concerning part is I see some people that I would think would be Herschel supporters believing what's said. I would need to hear the context of this statement and conversation, but it's same concept. He's got a great concept of what is being said, even if it's being misstated, is when you've got bad air, that bad air's got to be able to move out in order for the good air to come in. Okay. And if the bad air gets over there and the good air from here goes over there, that bad air's got to go somewhere. So sometimes it comes here, and you got to do something to as quickly remove yourself from the bad air as you can possibly do it, which might mean jumping out and taking a run. It might mean going and taking a shower. It might mean, I don't know, cleaning out your closet, doing something, getting out there and knocking on doors. You know what the best thing to do is, if what I found, if I'm ever in a bad mood, or I'm ever just feeling that ick, that suck, and I'm having to embrace it, go find somebody you can help. Just go do some random act of kindness. I promise you, it lifts everybody's spirits. Because whenever, like yesterday, for instance, and I heard you talking about, you had driven, he was talking about something, it was all the things that keep piling on top of the things that he can't stand doing. And I remember last night and he was driving back from Tennessee last night, sitting in a car, not having to move anything except his arms. And Cooper, occasionally when he would come and post up like on his lap, sometimes Cooper likes to do that. When you're driving, you have to move that. But I'm watching this group, and in the middle of it starts pouring down rain. I mean, pouring down rain. And these guys were still willing. They're like, we can move. I'm like, no, I don't want the furniture getting all wet. Let's let this thing pass a minute. But I mean, these guys are excruciating, sweating and lifting these super heavy pieces into wherever we want them to go. And I'm just going to tell y'all, I have moved some of these pieces of furniture 6 times, like back and forth to the same place, to the point that the guys actually had a phrase that they would use when they would say, all right, Christy wants to put it back where it was, because she doesn't like where we just moved it to. And these are pieces they have to like put these straps on and like lift, like team lift, like refrigerator weight. So, and I was sitting there thinking of a situation like this, as bad as it can be, I'm so grateful that we've got people that are coming in here willing to help, just willing to help, not complaining. Just, you know who was complaining the most? My own kids. My own kids were the ones complaining the most. These guys that were in here helping were just as happy and thankful, and they might have left here and went, I'm never moving anything for her again. But they didn't. They were wonderful. So I as much of a yucky situation as the moving is, and y'all, my body was, oh my God, I was aching so bad. I wasn't even moving. I was moving some stuff, but it's just like, even when I turn, my hips hurt. It's that kind of pain, like that, just kind of excruciating, standing up all day, moving boxes, unloading dishes, unloading boxes, doing whatever. There's always a piece of gratitude to be found in every single situation, So he goes back to the vision board, and he goes back to. So now I want you to pick back up on what you were talking about earlier.
So in about two.
Good morning, Cooper.
So let me say this. So we closed on this house on Friday. So this has been a long time coming. This has been a.
Oh, you're already there. I didn't know how far you got in that conversation.
Yeah,
So,
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right.
So we closed on this house on Friday, and I remember, and this house has a ton of memories for. And I think you saw Maggie's comment earlier. So Maggie and Logan, Carson and Zeke, Christy and I have tons of memories in this house. And
Cooper's right there.
And so for us, this house is pretty significant. Cooper,
Cooper, come here.
Cooper, nobody. So this house
Sorry,
is.
Will you put Cleo and Ozzy in the laundry room? We're on the call. We're on the call. So he just got super loud as he was getting ready to talk.
He's awake before 7. He thinks it's a miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. It's a Christmas in July miracle.
So this house is actually the first place that Christy and I in Hartwell, this is the first place that we came together. First time I met Carson and Zeke was in this house. So this house has a ton of significance for us,
oh my gosh,
your family, for my family. And I remember, and the people that we bought the house from were super, super great friends of ours from a transaction. They're fine. Just let them run around. So Christy did a transaction with these folks. And this is just
which is how I met them. They moved here from Florida.
And this is sort of the typical story of how clients become friends.
Right.
And so these two folks, Chris and Kim, became super fast friends, super close. Chris and I play golf together. He's a big hockey fan for the wrong team. Christy and Kim are really good friends. Chris and Kim are like secondary parents to all our kids, and we're like second parents to their kids. And it's a really cool thing. So this house has a lot of emotional significance for us. And Chris and Kim had asked us to sell the house 2 years ago.
2 years ago. It was right.
And
2 years ago,
and we, of course, they came in and redid everything. The house is gorgeous. It's probably one of the prettiest houses on Lake Hartwell. And when they came in and redid everything, we're like, man, this house will sell like that. So we price it, put a sign. Matt Brewster comes and takes pictures. They're unbelievable pictures, and it doesn't sell. I mean, it's like crickets. And
had some people that came in, because I want to elaborate on that. There was a good bit of activity on it. People that came in, and there was one woman that came in. She came up, her agent came up and previewed it. Then she came up from Florida and looked at it. The what?
Sweater? Is that the sweater? The one that we thought was going to die?
No, this is somebody else. Oh. This is one that she had looked all over Lake Lanier. Her agent, I sent her agent a ton of information on the house. I mean, it was like, and I finally said to him, I think she just likes spending time with you. I think her husband I don't think had any interest moving. They lived down at like Ponte Vedra or Hilton Head or somewhere like that. They were in Hilton Head. And I was like, dude, I really think, I mean, he's got proof of funds letters. I mean, they've got the money to buy. I think her husband was like, find yourself a young male real estate agent, go and look at all the houses you want to look at, and leave me alone so I can go play golf. And you know what, honey, just go look at the houses. It's almost like, I truly believe she was just buying time. I think she was just kicking tires, but she would come in and there'd be something about the house that she didn't like. And then somebody else came in, and there was this woman, he said, was it the sweater? I was thinking like a sweater. No, this woman was
she was having a heart attack in front of us.
She was a perspiration sweater. Like,
it was off-putting. It was so bad.
Y'all know
I'm like, girl, put your head in the freezer before you die.
You know, those ones where the person's like, the sweat's just pouring down their face. It's a gift.
Yes, it's like.
Lady sent it to me whenever she saw the number of unread emails I had in my inbox. And she sends it to me. It's like, they're just sweating, pouring down their face. And I mean, and I'm like, are you okay? I mean, seriously, it was one of those. But I was defensive because everybody would always, you know how home buyers always feel the need to say something negative about a house. If you don't like it, just say it's not the one for you. You don't have to, if you're just looking for, now, if there's a problem because there's a leak in the closet that nobody knows about, perfectly fine. Tell me about it. Okay. But if it's just, you're just looking for a reason, to not like a house just to justify your decision that you're not wanting to make an offer on it. And that's why I tell people all the time, even sellers, and they're like, well, what's the feedback on the house? I'm like, I don't have any feedback. The feedback is they didn't make an offer, which means it's not the one for them. I mean, that's all the feedback sometimes no feedback is the best feedback you can possibly get because they didn't make an offer on the house. Therefore, they don't like it.
And a lot of times sellers, if you give them feedback, they get super emotional. They get super defensive about the house.
Right. Just take it off the market. Just forget it.
And they'll get super defensive. So be careful about that because even if you give them, they want feedback, but then when you give them feedback, they get mad about it. So just be really careful. So kind of back to the story. So Christy has sold this house 4 times.
Every time it's been sold.
So every time this house has been on the market, she has sold this house. So when I tell you that Christy, even before me, has a pretty intimate relationship with this house, it is she's been involved in every transaction with this house. So back to 2 years ago, we put a sign in the yard, take our pictures, doing the videos, we're doing everything, Matterport, doing the whole spiel of this house. And I'm telling y'all, it's unreal how gorgeous this house is. I mean, it really is.
Keep going. Yeah.
So there's been, and Kim, because she brings a different perspective from being from Florida and not from here, everything that she does is just super, super high end. So they came through.
She kicks it up a notch.
They came through and redid everything in the house. And so we're sitting here 2 years ago, selling the house, doing an open house, doing what we do. And I personally was sitting right there. I went down to the dock and I was sitting at the dock, just kind of sitting and chilling.
We're doing a preview open house.
Yep. And I just went down there and sat. And then I came upstairs and I sat here by these back windows. And when I sat by the back windows, I sat there and I looked at Christy and I said, "This is our house." And she's like, "What?" And I said, "This is our house. We need this. This house is perfect for our family."
It was one of those embrace the suck moments where he was having to embrace the suck of an emotional feeling that he had. I don't think you'd felt that way yet. You had not felt that way about the house. And he'd gone down to the dock, and then he comes in and he walks around the house, and he comes and he sits. Y'all can't see it, but it's right over here
by these back
just
windows.
Off to the right from an extension of these windows, because the whole back of the house is all windows. And he sits in front of this little small window here on a little stool. And I'm like, "Babe, what's wrong?" And he's like, "This is our house. Like we should be the ones buying this house." And so 2 years ago, for those of y'all that know us or didn't know us then, if you knew us 2 years ago, you know that 2 years ago, I had just come out of
we were not in a position to buy the house.
We were not, because we were in a position of the company was growing. I was 6-7 months out of finalizing a atrocious divorce situation. There's times in life when you're just
the timing was not there.
But all those things are happening to prepare you for what's coming. Okay. To prepare you for what is, because we go through those times and the Lord uses those times in our lives. And we think, man, this is awful. Why's happened to me? But what we don't understand, and I use the Karate Kid example a lot, is Daniel hated all the things that he was doing because he didn't understand why he was having to do all these things until he realized all the preparation for what was coming that those things had been doing for him and what that had been achieving when he didn't understand it. And sometimes it's like, you don't have to trust your feeling. You got to trust. Don't ever think that you're going through something or you're having to do something and this is not the way it should be. It's exactly the way it should be. And that's what that book's about, is embracing the suck. Is about understanding that there's a bigger picture there, that we sometimes have to go through things. And it's not even sometimes, it's always, we always have to go through things in order to get to where we're going. We don't ever just suddenly magically appear and it's there. Because if it does, there's no depth to it.
So what you see doesn't change until you change what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what you look at doesn't change until you change what you see. And you'll know that even in this embrace the suck model, one of the things that he talks about in his book is what separates somebody who makes it as a SEAL from somebody who doesn't make it as a SEAL. Because understand, everybody that they start these BUDS classes. So they start their classes with 235, 265, 270 people. And every one of these people are qualified. They've all done swim tests and run tests, they pull ups, they've done the physical screen. They're all the best of the best. And that 260, 270 people that start buds, they're the best of the best. But they'll finish that class with 17 or 18 people. They'll get through 270 people, 260 people, 230 people to get to 17 or 18. And the difference is for those 17 or 18 is they have something there that they're going after, and they've decided they're not going to quit. They've decided that no matter what, I'm going to serve my country. This is bigger than I am, and I'm never going to quit. And that mindset is not something they think in their head. It's something they believe in their soul. It's something they believe in their heart. And no matter what happens to them, they're not going to quit. They may get pissed off. They may get mad. They may get upset because those people are the instructors are trying to kill them, but they're not going to quit. They're not going to stop. So when we got here 2 years ago, it's my phone. When we got here 2 years ago, and I said, this is our house, we weren't in a position to buy this house. We weren't in a position to be able to afford to purchase this house. And unfortunately, I said that to Carson, and Carson he's unrelenting in his desire. And so if I don't believe it, he believes it. And then he starts saying it so much that you got to believe it. You got to get on the train or get off the train. And so 2 years ago, I'm sitting here and I say, this is our house. And when you look around at the situations to be able to do that, they didn't exist. That to be able to purchase this house, those physical circumstances didn't exist. But what I did is I put that in my head. I put that in my heart. I believed down in here.
I think the Lord put it in your heart.
I believed in here that this could be our house. So 2 years ago, we put the sign on the yard, did all the work. It doesn't sell. Pull it off the market. Let's try it again. We put it on the market again. Try it again. Nothing. 2 or 3 people came out and looked at it.
So here's the thing. And I'm not interrupting you on that, but it wasn't just that. It wasn't that it just didn't sell. So these sellers are very savvy real estate because they did a lot of real estate investment down in Florida. So we get a lot of clients that don't really have a clue what they're talking about, right? I mean, we do get that. That's not these clients. These clients are very savvy in the real estate arena. They've invested in properties, sold properties, bought them, fixed them up, flipped them, made a ton of money doing this. But they weren't just the buy it, fix it, flip it, and don't put emotion behind it. Every single detail of every house they bought and renovated and did things with, there was intention behind it. It was and I'm telling you, when I talk to you, and you guys know, I mean, it's Kim and Chris Lang, so you guys know them. And Kim's the one, our friend that had the lung cancer, and she's been on the calls, and heck, they may be on the call this morning. So, but everything that she would do was intentional. Like every house that they would renovate, she would go in and put the details and put the love into it as if it was going to be hers. Cause she was thinking through to whoever was going to call that home one day and putting those details into it and that thought and that intention and that love behind everything she did. The same way that honestly, when I say that we're like cut from the same soul cloth, we truly are, because a lot of times we look at things through the exact same lens, just like Aaron and I do. So many times we look at it through the same lens. So when it came off the market, it was on the market for a few months. And then Chris was like, we're taking it off before the holidays. The holidays are our time. Kim had actually had some health complications that year. And they said, this was 2020. Okay. COVID. They literally during COVID, they did not have a kitchen. They did the tear out of their kitchen, and then the quarantine happened, and they were in this house for 6 weeks with no kitchen. They were having to fix stuff in their bathroom and stuff because they didn't have a kitchen. So there was a lot that went into, did you remember? You didn't remember that, did you? Yeah. They had torn the kitchen out, and then the shutdown happened. So they had no kitchen. So, but they came and they put it all back together in a way that I probably couldn't have envisioned doing it. As visionary as we can be and taking something and making it, they just put details into stuff that I probably wouldn't have thought to do. Okay. But they came off the market. And then when they decided and lo and behold, at that point that year, don't come in here and go on your phone while we're sitting here doing this call. They had a situation come up in their family that this home became a safe place for their grandson. This home was his solace. It really was.
Mhm.
I mean, and they said, there's no way that we're getting rid of this house right now, because this is a home that our family needs to be that anchor point, to be that point of consistency and a constant for their grandson. So when we talk about how this home is one of those places that it just has phenomenal energy.
Mhm.
It does.
Mhm.
It's got y'all walking in these places. It just has phenomenal energy. And then so they decide to put it back on the market in, was it 2020 when she got the diagnosis, or was it 2021?
2020.
It was 2021 when she got the diagnosis. Yeah, it was last year.
It was after COVID.
Yeah, it was. It was
after
last
COVID,
year.
yeah.
So, because we were already in Mount Juliet. Yeah. So we put it back on the market the following summer, 2021, summer of 2021. We put the house back on the market. A couple of people came and looked at it again, and that might have been when the sweater came in, was the summer of 2021. Yeah. So it doesn't sell. And so again, as Aaron was saying, Carson just walked out. Carson had been affirming this house as ours, and when we talk about the affirmations that your kids do, he had been affirming this house, not necessarily in written affirmations because he hates to write, but in verbal and in mental affirmations, even to Aaron. I mean, it was bringing it up. He called Chris and started trying to negotiate with Chris one day about the house. So all those things, that emotion behind this home is ours. And of course, I get defensive. I get defensive with you guys. I get mama bear mode. I wasn't defending that home as ours at that point. I was defending that home because I know this home and I know how well built this home is. And I know all the stories behind this house and I know everything that's gone on with this home. And so when somebody would come in and just try to find something just to nitpick at and say, well, it doesn't like this and I don't like that about it, and I'm like, then you know what? It's not your home. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine for you not to feel that way. But somebody doesn't have to find something wrong with something just because it's not the right thing for them.
So here's what I'm saying. You got to trust the process, because what you're hearing right now are all the circumstances that have taken place over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, all the things that if you looked at, all the things that have taken place, even from our perspective, even from our side of the fence, all the circumstances that happen, all these balls and all these pieces that had to get put into place, and all the that had to happen, choices had to be made and decisions had to be made, and this chess piece had to go over here and this checker piece had to go over there. All those things are what happens in the process.
And sometimes it's a protective piece as well, because there was one piece of this once we decided. So in the fall of 21, late fall of 21, we decided we were going to we were at a place that we could try to move forward on this. Okay. And we start having the conversations, we start having discussions, and we were looking at it from a completely different perspective, not as our home. We were looking at it as an investment. We weren't going to actually move into it to live in it as our home. And there was a certain investor that we actually did a lot of business stuff with that had expressed interest in becoming an investor on the property. And that situation, this home was also a protector of us, potentially our company. There was, because that process of them expressing interest to be involved in this, and then because of the closer communications, having to deal a little bit closer with some people, revealed, not to me, this is what's crazy, to Chris, the seller of this home, something's not right. To you and Chris. And normally I'm a pretty good read because when somebody, I'm really going to appreciate if you will just stop and go, there's like so many sinks in this house. So thank you. I love you. They recognized something wasn't right there. And we said, I think, and I truly believe we dodged a bullet is what I believe. And now some things have recently been revealed about that other situation that, and since we've distanced from it, that it was, I mean, this home truly protected us, potentially our company, everything. And that's the other piece of what this home represents for us, because had it not been us getting involved with this, and there been some discernment that was happening, and we were on that close of a detail of it, we might not have been protected from that.
But again, trust the process.
Trust the
Trust the process. So I'll show you this.
So hold on, at closing. So we're closing Friday, right? So we're sitting there at closing. And again, these are savvy real estate investors. Okay. They've done a ton of real estate. I've done a lot of real estate. I pretty much know there were things that came up in this process that it was like, who would have ever expected that? And it wasn't necessarily that any party had done something wrong. It was just, it was like one of those, like once in a blue moon, it could happen, but it's very odd that it would happen. It would happen. So we finally, y'all want to talk about feeling like you're getting to the closing table with blood running out of your forehead. You got your arm strapped on with a bungee cord and duct tape. I mean, literally, I feel like we had been through battle to get to this house. And there were times that we were like, is it even right?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be doing this? Like sometimes it just finally feels like, is that even? And we got to the point
and
that
sometimes the walk away works. Sometimes you got to walk away
to let the energy go.
Well, because sometimes you're trying to push the process.
Correct.
Sometimes you're trying to push because your ego wants it to be now. None of us like to wait for a result. We like to make it happen immediately. None of us like to wait down the road. None of us we don't like the unknown. It's the same thing I talk about all the time. You would rather do the same thing you know how to do in the known than walk in the dark room where the fortune is, because you don't know what's behind that door. And so a lot of times we want things to happen in the known. We want to be able to control the outcome, but you can't control the outcome if you're trusting the process. If you're trying to control the outcome and you're trying to control the process,
at Maggie,
you got to let that go. And to use my golf analogy, that me and Carson talk about this all the time, but if you listen to people who are really, really good at golf, they tell you once you hit the putt, you can't help what the ball does. Once the ball leaves the putter face, you have no determination on if it hits a rock, if it hits a spike mark, if a bird comes and picks it up, if there's an earthquake and it sucks up in the earth, or if it goes in the hole. You have no control over that. You've got to do the best you can with the ability that you have, and then let the process be what it is.
That's right.
And then just let the outcome be what it is. And a lot of times she likes to control outcomes. I like to control outcomes. Most of us as humans like to control outcomes. And in this process, there were so many moving parts over the last 2 years. There were so many guys. It would literally take a book, a volume.
It is crazy
to list everything that had to happen to put us sitting here at this table with the lake behind us in this home. It'd be a volume.
And the crazy part is as you look back, once you're standing at a certain point, and how many of us do this? We're standing at a certain point, and we turn on, we look back, and they say you can almost trace the hand of God when you're looking back. When you finally get to a situation and you're like, oh, we're finally here. But you look back at everything that occurred that wasn't even necessarily directly, it was directly related to this, but it was something that had to happen that now has resulted in a different outcome of a different situation. Okay. But it affected that situation. So those things had to happen. And maybe the specific, like, I'm just using this house as the example, the pursuit of walking through the process to get to this, you went down a couple of other roads that there were obviously other situations were involved, that now that outcome you look at and go, wow, had that not happened, where would we be here? It's like God bless the broken road, right?
Again, the ancillary benefits of being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do, trusting the process and not wavering. And it's hard. It's hard sometimes to not waver. It's hard in our flesh. It is super hard. If Jesus was in the kitchen in the morning when you woke up to get your coffee and Jesus said, it's all going to be okay. I promise you, here's exactly what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen next Tuesday. This is what's going to happen in June. July is going to be this way. And you and Jesus had a conversation and you wrote all this stuff down. You wouldn't sweat it. There'd be no reason for faith because he already told you.
Right.
You just walk through it. And you know, if I go through this door, it's going to be X. If I turn the light switch on, the lights are going to come on. If Jesus is in your kitchen, laying out your next 6 months, there's no reason for faith. There's no reason to have this belief in your heart. But now, because of this, all the ancillary benefits that have come as a result of this house, as a result of this process, things have been revealed about other people. Things have been revealed about other situations. There have been things that have happened that are now blossoming and starting to grow as a result of this.
Right.
And so here's what I want to show y'all this. And I don't know.
Oh, I hope you zoom out because we're sitting at closing. So and I didn't even know this. For those of y'all that were at the meeting, it was a year ago. It was probably over a year ago. It was probably a year and a half ago when we did the vision board exercise. And Aaron does his vision board on Canva. He doesn't do the poster boards. He did his vision board on Canva, and I looked at his phone, and he had taken off the picture. Who was in the meeting whenever I realized that Aaron had taken our picture?
Mad.
I did. I got mad. I was like, dude, like you don't even have a picture of us on your he's like, baby, I already got you. I don't need a picture of us on my screen, on my wallpaper on my phone. He put his vision board on his wallpaper on his phone, and a lot of people feel like, well, if you put something somewhere and then you almost become numb to it. No, you don't become numb to it. It becomes your norm. That is what is subliminally putting that, whatever that vision is, it needs to be somewhere that you see it every single day. Okay. Because that is ingraining in your subconscious what you're working for, whether you're intentionally going, oh, there's my vision board. I'm looking at everything on my vision board. It is ingraining that in your subconscious as that is, and that's not the name it, claim it faith. That's not what I think. It's not like you sit back and you do something and then you wait. It's not like you set it and forget it. That's not what it is. You're working every single day towards whatever you're doing, but that vision board being there is what you're going towards. So now I'm gonna let you take it away. So at closing, he pulls this out. I didn't even know.
So it's called reticular activation.
Yep.
So it's RAS. It's a reticular activation system is what it's called. And when you have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, the growth mindset, that growth mindset, that reticular activation is what you see and hear. Again, you don't change what you look at until you change what you see. Okay. And so the vision board activity is along the lines of you have not because you ask not. And you have not because you ask not. You faith the size of a mustard seed moves mountains. And a lot of times when we ask, especially in our religious traditions, we ask in a prayer. We ask with our words. We don't really ask from our hearts. We don't plead. We don't. Some people can intercede, and some people can really get into who they are and connect to God and connect and speak from those murmurings and those. That's what it says. The Bible says that He hears the murmurings of your heart.
Right.
It's here that God hears. And so when we talk about this from a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, when we talk about this from a reticular activation system, all this is borne out in every single religious tradition that's ever been. Seek and ye shall find. You have not because you ask not. Faith the size of a mustard seed moves mountains.
So it also tells us that God knows the desires of our heart before we even know them.
And those desires are those things that when you look at and you feel and you're in that situation, you understand where you are, it feels like it's yours. It doesn't feel foreign to you. It doesn't feel out of touch for you. It's not something that you're pushing and trying to grab a hold of. It just feels like it's yours. It's like when you look at your child, it's that same feeling. You just know it's yours.
Right.
And so when I put vision boards together, when I put my vision board together, all the things on my vision board, I sit and I think about and I ponder and I put in my spirit. And there are some things that push me a little bit. There's some things that push me outside of my comfort zone a little bit. There's some things that are a real stretch for me. And I'll be honest with y'all, this house was one of those stretches. Because again, 2 years ago, when I sat right there and said, this is our house, there were no physical situations in our lives that said you can get that house. There wasn't. There was nothing.
Well,
Hang on. And I came from a place, in me personally, where there's no way in hell I could have had this house. So for me, in my ego and in my flesh and in my person, this house was a stretch for me. So when I'm telling you on your vision boards, you got to sit with you. You got to sit in here and see this from a belief. Put those emotions with those beliefs, or put those emotions with those thoughts and turn them into a belief.
So, and I'm gonna jump in here for a minute, because I truly believe, and we say this all the time, sometimes we are our biggest obstacle.
Without a doubt.
And we say this to you guys, we have to get out of our own way. We truly have to get out of our own way. And I do not believe, because that, and we talked about this last week, you were in Tennessee and I was in Georgia. And I said that some people view somebody having that forever pursuit. Our pursuit is to help other people. Our pursuit, even in our decision to pursue this home, to make the decision to try to move forward with it last year as an investment, was because we knew the emotional, the healing, the safe place, all the things that this home represented to us and to the families that have been here, that we know personally and care about dealing, because it's not just the Langs. It was the first people who ever privately ever occupied this home as a residence. Very dear friends of mine. Our kids grew up together. So I believe that seed, because like he just said, 2 years ago, last 2 summers ago, when we were here doing the open house, and it was an open house for everybody to come in and see the house, and when we put it on the market, and he had never thought about this house, as he'd been here and he enjoyed it and he loved it, but it never clicked in him that this was our home. And as he's sitting here in it, and he didn't share this part, he said he walked around to every room in this house and could literally see our family and our grandkids. This is before Logan and Maggie were even pregnant. Our grandkids like running around the house, like us doing big family events at this home. And he said, I see it. I mean, like I literally, he was down in one of the rooms downstairs. Like, I think he sat there in the dark and just closed his eyes, and just, he could literally in his mind see everything happening. And whenever we started pursuing this last year as an investment, it was not out of a egotistical inward pursuit. It was, this is a place that we were going to host like coaching events and bring people in and try to help them move their business along. And as a, you know, maybe even like some different people we met at Coach Burt's things, that they came in and they did retreats for like nonprofits that have like fatherless households and stuff like that. I mean, things that are going to truly help people and let the love of what we know this home represents to us be shared with other people. And we were pursuing it as that. We had no intentions of this becoming our home that we slept in every night, and but that's what he saw 2 years ago. So when we started pursuing it, we were pursuing it with the wrong outcome. He was never really, he just never really felt it. And I said to you one day, it's like, I can see, I told him 6-8 months ago, I said, baby, I see your black Range Rover. When I'm doing my visualization, I literally see your black Range Rover sitting in the driveway. I see it. I mean, I literally see it. It's almost like I felt like there was like this piece of plastic, like saran wrap, that you know, y'all know how you can almost see it and you can touch it, but then there's something in between, but you can't even see what's in between. It's not a physical obstacle you can see. It's almost like this, if you've seen it in movies, where it's like this barrier, right? And you just have to somehow get through that. So I didn't know what it was. And I said to him one day, I said, maybe you're the one blocking this. And that was me. Now that we're sitting right here, that was him blocking, and he wasn't consciously doing it. I think that he never felt this home being what we were pursuing it as. So it was the right house. It was the wrong intent behind it. It was the wrong concept of what this house was truly supposed to be for us. And Kim Lang, again, the connection that we have with this other couple, Kim Lang, when we decided to pursue this as our personal home, and we were going to make this our personal home, because it went back on the market, because everything fell through for us trying to do it as an investment. It went back on the market. And there were crazy stuff that went on that blocked it from becoming that investment. I mean, even a bunch of different aspects blocked it. but they were crazy stuff that you're like, how in the world did that happen? And then we had one after the other of those. So, and again, proof and supporting evidence of when God closes a door, you can't open it. And when he opens a door, you can't close it. Because when it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And when it's not supposed to happen, you can fight it all day long and it is not going to happen. So we came back and said, you know what? We're putting it back on the market. Within 2 weeks, we had it worked out that we were proceeding forward with this house. And sometimes it's a situation that we saw a house hit the market in Cuscagoula. We found that it was selling down the street from our house. And we're like, holy cow. Like, who knew the property values in Cuscagoula had gone up that much? So all these little different aspects that went on. But here we sit, and all these different things that happened and occurred, and we're sitting at closing on Friday. Aaron pulls up his phone and shows, and you can't see his phone, but this is what's on Aaron's phone. Can you turn it that way to where it looks the same way it looks on your phone? To where you can see the whole thing? Okay, there it is. Hold on. This is his vision board, y'all, and he's going to put this up here. This is his vision board.
Share a picture.
He was going to try to put it on there. You can put it on there later. So this is his vision board. I don't know if you can see it. Is that blurry for y'all, or is that clear? Let me put it right there. I'm going to tap your phone and zoom
It's
in
blurry.
clear.
It's blurry.
So put it back up there where you can see it. I think if I do this, I can do it. I can see it. Oops, sorry guys, that was me. Put it back up there. I can tap the phone. Make it focus. Come down with the sun. Okay, right here. Come down just a little bit. All right. That's his vision board. It looks clear where I'm at. That's his vision board. This picture right here, and this is the same vision board that I got mad that this picture right here in the top, that's the back of this house. That is a back shot of the back of this house. And when he pulled that vision board out and held his phone up and showed across the table to Kim and Chris on Friday, sitting at closing, and showed them that I had no idea that house was on his vision board. No idea. So that lake house, and you put it on there, what? You can send that over later. You can send it later. You put that on there when?
This was done
a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Whenever we did the vision board exercises and he did his vision board on camera, that was when that went in there. I can tell you right now that there are multiple things on that vision board. Did y'all see that little jet right there? That little jet on there? I can't wait for that one to happen because I've watched, there are several things that are on this vision board that have been on his vision board since before I met him. That he just moved over to this vision board.
So it changes.
It does change. Yeah. Well, and sometimes when you've achieved something on your vision board, that evolves into something different. And his old vision board that he had a picture of the back of a house through some trees. And when I stood at our back door at Cuscagoula, looking across one day, the houses directly across the fairway from us look almost identical to that house that's on his vision board. Mm-hmm. And I went there and said, babe, bring that in here and let me look at that. That's what it was. And sometimes people are like, they just do pictures, but sometimes you've got to put words in there with it. You've got to. Again,
the picture represents the belief.
Yep.
The picture is just a physical representation of the belief.
But I believe that belief was that seed was planted in him 2 years ago, sitting here in this home, that he wasn't looking for that because that wasn't ever what he thought about this. And I remember being at that open house and thinking, babe, we're going all in on this. Like, we're representing the sale of this home. We're putting and I did, man, we put every foot forward to get this thing sold, to do the very best by the clients and to put, but again, people ask the questions a lot of times, why hasn't the house sold? Why hasn't this happened? Blah, blah, blah. And it's because
none of that matters.
Well, but it's because the right family hadn't walked through the door. So many times the house is priced properly. It's marketed properly. It's staged perfectly. It's in great condition. Somebody's going to come in and potentially find something about it. And it's just not going to sell because it's not their home. And that's the only answer I can give sellers sometimes is when they're like, well, why hasn't my house, or why are all these other houses selling and ours hasn't sold? Because the right family hasn't walked through that front door yet.
So again, and this is part of the expectation, trusting the process.
Yep.
Okay. You got to sit with you. You got to sit with you. You got to figure out what you really want. You got to figure out what it is your heart truly desires. What has God given you in your heart and what you truly desire? And then and this is, I truly believe this. I've seen this happen over and over and over again. It just continues to reinforce what I believe over and over and over again. When you see these things, when you have that reticular activation, when you have that growth mindset, when you have those beliefs that God's given you, and you can find things that represent those beliefs again, and it's not chasing stuff. It's not that at all. Those are the physical, those pictures, that vision board, that is the physical representation of the belief in your spirit, the belief in who you are.
Or the desire that's been put there.
That thing that's been given to you.
That's right.
And you do a disservice to you. You just do a disservice to those around you. You do a disservice to God when you don't sit in that and find your beliefs and find your desires and uncover what God's given you. You're not putting your best foot forward.
Right.
Okay. You're not walking in who you should be. That's the thing about this company. What makes this different is yeah, we do real estate, but it's so far down the road from what we're actually doing.
It's the platform.
Doing.
Real estate is merely the platform and the vehicle is all it is.
I truly believe we are working to help people connect to who they truly are, helping people connect to that vision, that thing that's been given to each individual agent, each individual person that comes into our company. We're helping to connect them to that. And sometimes people don't like that. Sometimes people just want to do real estate. Some people don't want to do anything. And
there's plenty of companies out there they can just go do real estate.
But let me encourage you. If I can encourage you with anything today, take some time and evaluate your desires.
That's right, man.
Take some time to see what it is that's in your heart. Take some time to put some effort into putting a vision board together, putting some things that you can see that are going to every day connect that desire. I'm telling y'all, I see black Range Rovers everywhere, everywhere. The right one's not there for me yet, and that's why I hadn't gotten it, but they're all over the place. I mean, I see more now than I've ever seen in my life because, again, my reticular activation system is going full speed, and now these things are just popping. These things are just popping, and I see them everywhere. So here's what I know. Here's what I know. In our flesh, sometimes things suck. In our flesh, there are things that we wish wouldn't happen. In this life, in this world, there are things that we go through that we wish we didn't have to go through. And all those things are true. And it happens to every single one of us. This is my third wife. I've been through 2 crappy divorces, sorry. and been through a lot of crap.
I knew we weren't going to get through this call without you getting all tearied up. I'm his last one, by the way. This one ends with somebody's in a box.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I have experienced things not as bad as some, but worse than a lot of folks have seen. I've been in a lot of tough situations, just like you have. Just like all of you have been through certain situations where you wouldn't wish that on anybody. Trust the process. Just trust the process. Don't ever quit. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop chasing your desires. Don't ever stop chasing your dreams. Don't ever stop imagining what's possible for you and your family. Because I promise you, 5 years ago, there ain't no way I would have seen this. I knew something was bigger than where I was, but I wasn't sure exactly what that looked like. Heck, 4 years ago, I might not have seen this.
4 years ago, this day, we didn't even know each other. We knew each other. We just hadn't met. We hadn't met.
Don't ever give up. Don't. I'd sing the song. Don't stop believing, but I can't sing. And that song's in your head right now. Don't stop believing. Don't ever give up. Never, ever, ever quit chasing your dreams, because there is a legacy that you're going to create when you see it. There are lives that you're going to change when you see it.
And when you just walk in it, you just walk in it.
There are things that you can't see. They're going to happen to the world around you, and there's no way you would know it. There's no way you could understand it. There's no way you would even contemplate that, because it's so much bigger than what you think it is.
And it's so much bigger than us. And I had I'm gonna hop in here and say a couple of things that I want to say. But before you met me, I had a signature line on my email, and I had a quote in my signature on my email that said, "If you don't see it before you see it, you'll never see it."
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see it before you see it, you'll never see it. And that's, it's faith. And if you don't, sometimes, and again, I can't emphasize, we say this about, I had this conversation with people about personality styles, and we talk about the midlines, right? And we talked about it last week, and we talk about when somebody is blessed, and I truly believe it's a blessing, because it's harder work for people who are far more dominant in one particular personality style. It's so much easier for people to connect to you, as well as for you to connect to people, when you are a much more balanced. It's just a natural, it's just the way we were wired. What's behind what makes all the difference in the world is the intention behind it. Because I promise you, if we were to do a personality style on Jesus, he would be a midline. Jesus would have been a midline in everything, but so are serial killers. And I'm not saying that Jesus, I'm saying what's important is the intent.
I'm glad I didn't say that.
It's the intent behind. So when the intent is love and helping others and sharing and helping people get to something bigger than anything you can ever see, and the intention behind it is pure and comes from a place of love, it's completely different than for that same personality style to be coming from a place of fear. And all evil is fear. Evil is fear in action. Evil is fear being walked out. That's all that is. There's two emotions. There's two root emotions.
Say that.
Love
and fear.
And fear. Two root emotions, love and fear. So the intention behind, and I say this all the time, I talked about it last week when I was on, and I told you that guy asked about the podcast. Is this market going to get rid of some bad agents? There are some bad agents is a reflection of one of two things. They are a bad person, or they are a bad person with good practices that are really good at their craft, or they are a good person with really bad practices. That's what makes up a bad agent. So I don't think that any market is going to eliminate the bad agent that's made up of a bad person with really, really good practices. But I do think that a market like this will eliminate the good person with bad practices, with not even necessarily like shady practice. I just mean not knowing enough, or not having that support system like we've got in our company, where somebody can pick up the phone and make a phone call to somebody and bounce some stuff off of them because they got to get through it. Yesterday, Teal McKinney was writing a contract. This might be the first contract she's written in real estate. Sunday, was it? I guess it was Sunday. What's today? Today's Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It was Sunday. So it wasn't yesterday. It was day before yesterday. I knew I was going to be moving. I was available to help her in the morning, but she was getting ready to go to a showing. And then, so I reached out to another agent in our company and said, "Hey, I need you to be available to help her, because when she's ready to do this and she has questions to get answered, she's going to need it right then, because they got a deadline at 3:00 to go these offers in on this property that she's going to show." That person said, "You know what? I'm here. I'm here to help her. I'm happy to help." So that's the kind of company we are. That's the kind of company that we're building and that you guys are building and that we are growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all we're doing is putting the water and planting seeds, and you guys are the ones that are actually out there blooming into whatever it is. It's not all the same flower. It's not all the same. Sometimes those seeds might look the same, but they're not. They're going to produce something completely different. That's where I'm at with vision boards and with the visualization of it, because coming from a Southern Baptist upbringing, and if you know, you don't, that whole, like, you visualize it and then it manifests itself. Because I truly believe that the reason why that spirit that desire is planted in you, it's not planted by us. It's planted because, again, the Bible tells us that the Lord knows the desires of our heart, even when we don't. He knows the murmurings of our heart, even when we don't, when we can't put it into words. Last week, Lynn Grizzle sent me a message, sent to Aaron and I both. It was a long devotion that had been sent to her. And she said, it was laid on my heart this morning to share this with you. And I don't know why. I just know that my Lord tells me when to do things, and I do it. And I'm just obedient in that. That was a word. If there was any word that I needed, that was on Monday morning before we went to court. I had to go into court for the final hearing regarding my children. And that word was, I already had almost an uneasy peace. Does that make sense? Like, my mind was like, you shouldn't be this calm. My heart was at complete peace, absolute complete peace going into that meeting on Wednesday.
Save some ammunition.
There's only 9 of them on here. So if they're there tomorrow, you guys already have a little bit of background. So I'm just saying that, and people get put into our lives that we don't even realize at the time that they enter our lives what that purpose was for. Kim shared something with us Friday at closing about, she knows that this relationship, this friendship was started 4 years ago for something that 4 years ago they had no idea was ever going to enter into their journey. So I don't want to end off this call because I was really finished up and he just went in the other room. So I don't want to end it while he's not here. But I would say, that's Lynn, you're right. That is what makes Exit so different. This is, we don't know how to be anything but real. We may be like gone in a minute because this camera looks like, I don't know what his battery power is, but it's on a thin red line. So hopefully he'll get back in here soon. So this battery didn't get in. But that's all we know how to be, is real. That's all we know how to do. And everything that we work for and everything that we do, I know the intention behind it. And that's what makes it different. And for a lot of people that meet with us and don't join our company, they say, well, that's too good. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And they're right. And sometimes that's because they weren't supposed to be in this company. And I am protective of our company. Y'all, I started wearing this shirt, which we are lake folks. We love the lake. Y'all know that. But I got this shirt. I don't even know where I got it. I got it probably, it's been a while ago, but it is so comfy and so cozy. And I love a good sweatshirt. And I put this shirt on. I went in there and got this out of the drawer this morning and put it on and said, you know what? This shirt may have even been an affirmation of what we were becoming. We become. And it was like, we are now truly, now we've been lake country, we've been real estate, we've been selling a lot of lake. And I've had a lake house before, a little lake house that I never lived in. It was never my home. The intention was it was going to be a little fun little spot. That went away because it wasn't the right thing. Had a lake lot, never got a house built on it. It went away. It wasn't the right thing. And this is, you know, when it's right, when you can settle into it and you wake up and you know this is exactly what it's supposed to be. Baby, you better hurry up. If this battery's going to be dead on this camera, I may have to end this with y'all. If I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all that if I lose y'all, I'm sorry. And we'll see y'all tomorrow at the meeting. You'll see me unless they say go straight to the hospital because you're in labor with Maggie at the appointment tomorrow. But I do believe we're different. And we had a conversation Friday afternoon, and I had a conversation with somebody a couple of months ago, and I've shared with you guys, we're different. People don't see what we are as a company until you're inside that company. I had a conversation Friday, not Friday, it wasn't Friday. It was one day last week with an EXP agent. Gosh, man, he was like, would you be willing to just let me make an appointment for you with our it was like an enterprise transition something. I was like, dude, if you want them to buy us lunch, I'm happy. But I promise you right now, there is never a day that, and you can take this never to the bank. There will never be a time, baby, quit walking, please, because the whole camera's shaking when you're doing that. There will never be a time when there won't be teal on our door. When the sign out front, as long as Exit Realty is Exit Realty and it exists, and I don't see a time that it's going away anytime soon, because we are doing nothing but building correctly, building with such strength and structure, not just Exit Realty Lake Country. I'm talking about Exit Realty. Quicker so we can finish the call. It just is it's not going away. And that guy that I talked to, young kid, gosh, I'm so happy that he started real estate this young. It's just one of those things. It's a feeling. It's kind of like Lynn said, you know, I mean, this is just, Exit Realty is a feeling. It truly is. It's a feeling, it's a family, and it's more than just real estate.
Yep.
So
let it out.
Finish it up, wrap it up, and then we're gonna let them go. Y'all, we've been on here
Good.
for an hour and 26 minutes. So for y'all, those of y'all that hung in here, thank you. Because I know we're not trying to make up for the missed days, but we have been exhausted. So, but this has been good for my soul this morning.
Good.
I needed this.
Good.
So I think you need it. Do you feel better?
I do feel better.
Good. All right.
All right. Be good.
Be great.
Be you.
Bye, y'all.
Love you.
Love you.